Hi, I'm Steve Myers, candidate for mayor of Baton Rouge. We've been having some fun in the last issue or two regarding possible revenue sources. Now, some of them are a little wild off the wall, but they're kind of fun to think about. So this is Revenue Sources Part 2. This is the Central Park and Moonlight Serenades. I've seen proposals, actually. I think one was in Business Report, to turn the City Park golf course into a Central Park. Frankly, I kind of like that idea. But I'm willing to go one step or two further. You know, this is perhaps the most scenic area of town, and it should be more accessible and more useful to all citizens. I'm talking about, of course, Lakeshore Drive, Baton Rouge Beach, and the streets that surround the lakes, the LSU Lake and the City Park Lake. I believe we should shut down some parts of Lakeshore Drive around the Baton Rouge Beach in the afternoons on weekends and turn them into total walking and biking areas. It would help create a sense of community for people to gather there and to walk up and down the streets. We need a concession stand at Baton Rouge Beach and eventually various items throughout Central Park. Eventually, we need moonlight gondolas and horse and buggy rides along Lakeshore Drive around the lake, both at night and on the weekends. These are areas that are maintained at taxpayer expense, and right now they're only enjoyed by a few people who happen to live along the street. They need to be attractive and open to all of the people of Baton Rouge. You know, if Baton Rouge is going to be the next great city, we need to be able to compete with Venice and Paris, and this may be one way to do it. So consider the Central Park and the Moonlight Serenade. While we're talking about naming rights and revenue, we spoke about naming rights of streets, but LSU, you know, is clearly on the forefront of naming rights. We maybe could go to LSU and ask them to be involved in helping create a program for naming rights. But even LSU has left one big naming right opening, and that is head coach. You know, Peter Mangurian is ironically an LSU walk-on former football player, and he has the formal title of the Patricia and Shepard Alexander head coach of Columbia University. That's in New York. There's plenty of named professors and professorships at the university and at the law school and throughout the educational system. So I think even the athletic department maybe is leaving money on the table. Now, it's not in the mayor's authority, and I can't command it, of course, especially as a mayoral candidate, but I have a check here for $2,500 made payable to LSU for the one-time naming rights on November 3rd of the head football coach. I'd like to see Dan Bornay and Jim Hawthorne and the TV announcers refer to the team as the Fighting Tigers of LSU, led by the Myers for Mayor head football coach, Les Miles. Now, I think LSU could probably get a lot more than $2,500 for Les Miles naming rights next year, but the money is here this year for one-time use on November 3rd. See you next time for some more creative ideas in the Myers message. You know, Baton Rouge can be a nice place for all of us. We can make it happen if we make it Myers.